let's talk about 2015's Ant-Man. Now, I've never been a massive fan of the character, but to say Ant-Man did not fascinate me would be a bit of a lie. I find his powers, psychology, and overall existence truly interesting. Of course, I'm referring to the Hank Pym interpretation of the superhero. The truth is, before Peyton Reed's 2015 movie, I had no idea there was another Ant-Man. So when I found out the movie would focus on Scott Lang, I was sort of meh on the whole thing. However, once I saw the film, I was genuinely surprised by how interesting Reed and the writers made Lang. He feels like an average guy who has somehow gotten himself caught up in this superhero adventure. There's a level of realism to Lang that continues throughout the whole film, whether it be reactions to wacky science stuff such as this,
cool, yeah, if it ain't broke,
or Lang's heartbreaking realization that his degree in electrical engineering means absolutely nothing when you have a criminal record.
Welcome to Baskin Robbins. Would you like to try our mango fruit blast?
These are all fundamental elements that contribute to a relatable and human character. Lang is not a macho lead who is unbeatable. He is just a dad who wants to prove that he's a hero. Speaking of dads, there is a beautiful theme of fatherhood, with the focus of this theme being on Hank Pym and the previously mentioned Lang. Both of these characters are fathers who have made massive errors in their respective pasts. Pym was the original Ant-Man alongside his wife Janet, who was the Wasp. The two were a fearsome duo, which sadly concluded when Janet sacrificed herself by going subatomic. Pym blamed himself for his wife's death, and spent decades of his life dedicated to working out what the subatomic land, known as the quantum realm, actually is. This focus and devotion to bringing his wife back was what ultimately caused a rift between Pym and his daughter Hope. To her, it seemed that Pym was just an ignorant arsehole, which he kinda is. To complement this, Lang was a criminal.
Well, technically I didn't rob them. Robbery involves threat. I hate violence. I burgled them. I'm a cat burglar.
You mean you're a pussy?
Yeah.
This life of crime was one of the fundamental reasons his wife left him, taking his only daughter Cassie with her. To rub salt into the wound, of course she marries a cop, Paxton. Lang and Paxton do not see eye to eye, with Paxton being a cop and Lang being, a criminal. In my opinion, the film does a wonderful job of setting up Pym and Lang as two characters who both need to prove that they're not failures. While on the surface level, the movie does have the usual end-of-the-world plotline, the film ultimately cares more about Lang and Pym's retribution. You'd be surprised by how inclusive superhero movies become when we, as an audience, can relate to something as simple as that. If you take away the shrinking and insanely silly concept of a world of superheroes, you begin to see how simple Ant-Man is. It is ultimately a movie about dads trying their hardest to prove to not only their daughters but themselves that they are not failures and losers, but that they are valued and warrant an existence. Speaking of existence, when I was rewatching the movie, I noticed how the quantum realm appears to be a continuous void. In the third act, the film's antagonist, the Yellow Jacket, finds his way to Cassie. Following a wonderfully comedic battle, Lang defeats the villain by going subatomic, finding his way into the quantum realm. Once in there, there's no concept of time or space. It is pretty much a whole of non-existence. When Lang breaks out of the quantum realm, it is almost as if he is breaking out of his non-existence, not only finding peace with himself and his past dilemmas, but becoming the hero his daughter always believed he was.
Daddy! I love you so much.
I love you too.
While Pym does not get an action sequence or reality-defying escape to prove his love for his daughter, he does get a conversation, and a genuinely heartfelt one at that. Pym reveals the true death of his wife to Hope, admitting his fears and apologising for keeping her distant for all these years.
Your mom died a hero.
Here, Pym puts aside his own flaws and fears in an attempt to see his daughter as the strong woman she is, capable of handling this revelation.
But why didn't you tell me that sooner? I I was trying to protect you. I lost your mother. I didn't mean to lose you, too.
In the film's first post-credit scene, Pym actually gives Hope her own supersuit, allowing his daughter to define her own life, making her own choices as a new interpretation of the Wasp. For me, Ant-Man is an underrated Marvel film. It is not a perfect film, not in the slightest bit, but it is a heartfelt look at the human side of this truly fantastic universe. Instead of a billionaire playboy in the leading role, or a god, or a super soldier, Ant-Man just features a dad who is trying to pay for child support. Through the wonderful development of both Lang and Pym, Peyton Reed's Ant-Man deserves some respect. Not all the respect, but some of the respect.
I ruined the moment, didn't I?
Yes, you did, yes.
I'm gonna make some tea.
Hey everyone, thank you again for watching this week's episode of In Praise Of, which of course focused on 2015's Ant-Man. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. I enjoyed making this one a lot. Ant-Man is one of the more underrated MCU films. I think I've said that like 4 times in this video, but I believe it's true. Definitely go check out Ant-Man and the Wasp. That's in theaters now, unless you're in the UK, in which case you have to wait until August, which is pretty funny. So yeah, as I said in the last video, there's gonna be a week's break from now on between In Praise Of videos. Like, I just don't think I can keep up with the pace of once every week. And I think it just gets a little tiring doing these videos every single week. So we're gonna try do the once every 2 weeks thing. And if that doesn't work out, we'll go back to the once every week. I'll get my shit together and try. But the next video is gonna be on 2013's Man of Steel. I thought it'd be nice to do a Marvel film and then a DC film, just to prove I'm not a completely biased little shit. So yeah. Thank you again for watching. Definitely you can check out the previous 2 episodes down below. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you very soon when we talk about Man of Steel. That should be very interesting. Until then, bye bye.